Good evening, and welcome to the end of week market review for Friday, February 7th, 2014. You are going to see that our US and Canadian markets are both rising bullish. This was after a pretty good, strong, positive week, despite having poor jobless reports last week. We can see that this means that the markets did end the week up. We've got the Dow Jones up 1.06% on the day, and the S&P 500 up 1.33% on the day. Taking a look at all of our commodities, you're going to see that we have gold, silver, and oil all also up. We've got gold up 0.34%, silver up 0.25%, and oil up 2.35%. Taking a look at some economic reports, the one that we really want to zone in on is the one from February 6th, where we're looking at our jobless claims. You're going to notice that they were expecting 335,000 claims, and they actually ended up with 331. So for that particular week, things were good, but things were a little bit worse than they anticipated for January. We were expecting that that was going to pull up the markets, and for whatever reason, it didn't. So here we're looking at the S&P 500 on the daily chart. You're going to see that it's now coming up against some overhead resistance, which happens to be the 50 EMA as well as the 22 EMA. You're going to see, though, that the MACD is rising bearish, and with that black line crossed through the blue line. The MACD is starting to show some optimism, but the fact that we're up against these overhead EMAs suggests that we might slow down for at least a little bit before working ourselves back up and into higher highs. When you look at the weekly chart, you're going to see that the decline that we experienced on the S&P 500 really wasn't that significant. You're going to see that we did dip down below the 26 EMA, but we did have the 40 EMA as some significant support. Although the 26 EMA did act like support the last two times it came down there, the 40 EMA certainly has for quite some time. You're going to see that the TSX is painting a little bit of a different picture than the S&P 500. Obviously, we did have a pullback and we did push ourselves into bearish territory, but we did end up finding some support at the first cycle high that we had, cycle low, as well as supporting EMAs. Now we're back up above our 50 and 22 EMA, and we can actually see that our 5 EMA is just crossed through the 22. This means that the EMAs are aligned again, a very good positive sign. And you're also going to see that the MACD is just crossing through the blue line and crossing back into bullish territory. Another positive day, and we will be into a rising bullish sentiment all over again. The weekly chart, as you can see, is looking alright as well. We're obviously not back at our cycle highs yet, but you're going to see that we didn't actually come down to our 26 EMA, where we also saw on the S&P 500. So obviously a good positive sign for the TSX, suggesting that it was actually quite a bit stronger in the short market correction that we had, and all in all, nothing to be concerned about. When you look at our volatility indicator, you're going to see that it's well on its way back to normalcy, with it currently finding some support at the 50 EMA. We're hoping that it will continue to work itself down and below that 200 EMA. Once it gets into that territory, then we can say that the indicator is back to normal and where we'd like it to be. For now, we're still just going to be a little bit cautious until we see what ends up happening. If you have any questions about anything that we've discussed, you could either send us an email or a phone call. All of our contact information is on the screen. So with that all said, this has been the end of week market review for Friday, February 7th, 2014. Ciao for now.